Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, go ahead, say it with me. DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you could have me at your next event. You know, I like to party with the people. Weddings and, just birthday parties and corporate events. Oh, the weddings are coming back. Oh, I'm so stoked about that. The weddings are coming back. This week's shows, I will be at I have two. Count them, two public shows this week. I'll be at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. The place to be on a Thursday night, 6 to 10 in the p.m. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good after-work treat for you. Come on out to the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. They got great food, great drinks, great people. I can't say enough about the people. The staff there is just top notch, always on it. Just going around and making sure that everybody is taken care of very nicely. We're out there on the party patio. It is 21 and over on the party patio, but if you want to bring the family to have some food at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill, I encourage you to do so. They have a nice restaurant inside, but then they have the party patio. You sneak out the door and it's 21 and over. And then we do some singing. Yeah. Video dance party, karaoke jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill Thursday nights from 6 p.m. until 10 in the p.m. Yeah, it's a good little treat getting you ready for the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, on Friday nights, I got my usual Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas from 8 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. Yeah, it's a big, big room. So on one side of the room, we got pool tables with a pool tournament. And on the other side of the room, we got yours truly, Keys Dan, hanging out next to the stage, which, by the way, it belongs to you, the karaoke singer. It's a video dance party, karaoke jam. You're the stars of the show on Friday nights. And they do karaoke on Saturday nights, too. I don't do it on Saturday nights at the Rab, but yeah, Friday and Saturday nights at the Rab, there is karaoke available. Always a good time, always exciting at the Rab. Come and bring your friends out to the Rab. Do it. That's also a 21 and over show. I guess I need to get some more family-friendly shows. Maybe at least one public family-friendly show. I kind of miss my kids singing too, but yeah, it's some good, clean adult fun for the right into the weekend. Thursdays at Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, and Fridays at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. And bring a mask, okay? We're trying to take care of each other during this COVID time. Whatever you believe, if you believe it's dwindling, or if you believe it's very detrimental to your health. Now, if you're scared and you're feeling sick, I encourage you to stay home. Just stay home. We don't need that kind of pressure on you or anybody, really. So, I mean, if you're really afraid of the COVID-19, then, hey, stay home. But for the rest of us who feel like, hey, we'll protect each other. We got a mask. We got we wash our hands. We got sanitary wipes. Every time somebody uses the microphone, I wipe it down and make sure it stays nice and clean and fresh for the next person. Yeah. All right. Taking care of each other during these crazy, crazy times. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Trump-Biden appeal for big turnout on campaign's final weekend. President Trump held a flurry of rallies in Michigan, Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida on Sunday and into early Monday as Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden made a final appeal for votes in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, with 90 million ballots already cast by mail or early in-person balloting. Election experts said the candidates' final messages were meant to boost turnout rather than win new support. Trump, who plans appearances in several more states on Monday, downplayed the recent coronavirus surge and told supporters, quote, "A great red wave is forming," end quote. He also continued to question the integrity of the election, threatening a court battle in the crucial battleground state of Pennsylvania. Biden held 2 events in Philadelphia on Sunday, telling Pennsylvania the election is in their hands. Quote, "The truth is, to beat the virus, we first got to beat Donald Trump," end quote, Biden said. This is according to the New York Times. Number 2, Texas High Court rejects GOP push to throw out 127,000 votes. The Texas Supreme Court on Sunday rejected a push by conservative activist and Republican candidates to preemptively throw out nearly 127,000 votes cast in largely Democratic Harris County, the state's most populous. The ballots in question were cast at drive-through polling sites that many people use to reduce the risk of coronavirus exposure. The state's all-Republican High Court denied the request without explaining its decision. The Republican plaintiffs are pushing a similar lawsuit in federal court, arguing that drive-through voting violates the U.S. Constitution. There is a hearing in that case scheduled in Houston on Monday, the day before Election Day. Harris County, home to Houston, tested the drive-through service in the July primary runoff, allowing voters to pull up in their cars and vote using an electronic tablet. This is according to the Texas Tribune. Number 3, late Reuters poll show battleground states still close. More late polls showed Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden widened his lead over President Trump in 3 potentially key Rust Belt states that Trump narrowly won in 2016, according to Reuters Ipsos polls released Sunday. Biden led Trump by 10 percentage points in Wisconsin and Michigan, and by 7 points in Pennsylvania. Biden has led in these states since mid-September and expanded his edge in the final 2 weeks of the campaign. Reuters is also polling likely voters in North Carolina, Florida, and Arizona, 3 other potentially crucial swing states. Biden's lead in Florida, a must-win for Trump, narrowed from 4 percentage points to 2, 49% to 47%, compared to the last poll. Biden's lead in Arizona narrowed from 3 points to 2, and his edge in North Carolina fell to 1 point from 3. This is according to Reuters. Number 4, FBI investigates alleged harassment of Biden campaign bus. The FBI is looking into allegations that a convoy of Trump supporters harassed a Joe Biden campaign bus, CNN reported Sunday, citing a law enforcement source familiar with the investigation. This incident occurred Friday when the Biden campaign bus was traveling from San Antonio to Austin as part of an effort to get Biden voters to cast ballots on Texas's last day of early in-person voting. Vehicles with Trump flags that were part of a, quote, Trump train, end quote, pulled up on all sides of the bus. Occupants in the vehicles shouted profanities and slowed down, forcing the tour bus to slow to 20 miles per hour on Interstate 35, a Biden campaign official said. President Trump tweeted a video of the incident saying, quote, "I love Texas," end quote. This is according to CNN. Number 5, White House advisor apologizes for Russian outlet interview. White House coronavirus policy advisor Scott Atlas apologized Sunday for giving an interview to RT, a Russian media outlet backed by the Kremlin. Quote, I recently did an interview with RT and was unaware they are a registered foreign agent, end quote. Atlas tweeted, quote, I regret doing the interview and apologize for allowing myself to be taken advantage of. I especially apologize to the National Security Committee, who is working hard to defend us, end quote. The intelligence community has concluded that Russia tried to influence the 2016 election to help President Trump and warned that it was trying to boost his candidacy again in Tuesday's presidential election. In his Saturday interview with RT, Atlas said the U.S. coronavirus death toll, which now exceeds 230,000, is, quote, tragic, end quote. But there's a, quote, gross distortion, end quote, of the crisis in the media. This is according to Politico. Number 6, rescuers search for earthquake survivors as Turkey death toll rises. Rescuers on Sunday continued searching in the Turkish port city of Izmir for survivors of Friday's powerful 7.0 magnitude earthquake. Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Presidency raised the death toll from the quake. It stood late Sunday at 64, with 62 deaths in Turkey and 2 on the Greek island of Samos. More than 900 others were injured, with 8 reported to be in intensive care. Dozens more remained unaccounted for. A 70-year-old man identified as Ahmet Sitim was pulled alive from the rubble of a destroyed residential building 33 hours after the temblor. He was taken to a hospital, but his condition was not immediately announced. Thousands of rescuers were sent to help search collapsed buildings, some using mechanical diggers. This is according to BBC News. Number 7, report. Nursing home staffing fell at crucial point in pandemic. Dozens of nursing homes had potentially dangerous shortages of caregivers in some of the deadliest days of the coronavirus crisis, limiting care for many vulnerable residents, the Wall Street Journal reported Sunday, citing federal data. Up to 127 hard-hit nursing homes in New Jersey and New York had nurse staffing levels in April that were at least 25% below those on comparable days in 2019. More than 300 nursing homes with coronavirus outbreaks had at least one day when staffing levels dropped to more than 40% below where they were at the same time last year. Quote, that's really endangering the residents, end quote, said David Grabowski, a nursing home expert and professor of healthcare policy at Harvard Medical School. Quote, problems happen during the pandemic when you don't have sufficient staffing on that given day, end quote. This is according to the Wall Street Journal. Number 8, Trump reportedly tells insiders he'll declare victory early. President Trump has told confidence he'll declare victory on Tuesday evening if he's leading the election, Axios reported Sunday, citing 3 sources familiar with his private comments. Trump denied he planned to declare victory prematurely, but added that, quote, it's a terrible thing when ballots can be collected after an election, end quote. Axios's Jonathan Swan reported that Trump had privately said he would stick to a plan to declare victory early, even if there were still uncounted votes in crucial states like Pennsylvania that could alter the shape of the Electoral College in subsequent hours or days. Axios said Trump had talked through this scenario over the last few weeks. To claim he had reached the 270 Electoral College votes needed to win, Trump would need to have commanding leads in most battlegrounds, such as Ohio, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, Iowa, Arizona, and Georgia. This is according to Axios. Number 9, Trump suggests at rally he might fire Fauci. President Trump suggested at a campaign rally early Monday in Florida that he might fire Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top U.S. infectious disease expert, shortly after Tuesday's election. Trump expressed frustration over media coverage of surging coronavirus infections, and his supporters started chanting, quote, "Fire Fauci," end quote. Trump responded, quote, "Don't tell anybody, but let me wait until a little bit after the election," end quote, Trump said, thanking the crowd for the, quote, "advice," end quote. The comments came after Fauci criticized the White House response to the pandemic in an article published in the Washington Post over the weekend. Fauci warned that the nation would have to deal with, quote, "a whole lot of hurt," end quote, as the pandemic worsens. Trump has told largely maskless crowds that the United States is, quote, "rounding the turn," end quote, in the fight against the virus. But new infections have hit record levels. This is according to the Associated Press. Number 10. Judge orders USPS to follow extraordinary measures to deliver ballots. A federal judge on Sunday ordered the United States Postal Service to remind senior managers they have to follow, quote, "extraordinary measures," end quote, to deliver ballots ahead of Tuesday's presidential election. Voters are casting a record number of mail-in ballots so they can avoid the risk of coronavirus infection at crowded polling places. U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan said that the Postal Service must use, quote, "special procedures," end quote, it has in place to make sure it, quote, "delivers every ballot possible by the cutoff time on Election Day," end quote. USPS has agreed to do so. Sullivan also said that every ballot must have a legible postmark and that the Postal Service must remind managers to make every effort to deliver ballots with a local destination on the same day. This is according to CNBC. That's 10 things you need to know today for Monday, November 2nd, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. This has been What Makes You Smarter. I'm Keys Dan, trying to make myself smarter, fill my brain with knowledge. I've been using this podcast to keep up with current events. And if you'd like the sound of my voice or the look of my face, if you're watching the video, then I encourage you to come along with me using the hashtag What Makes You Smarter. And if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And if you want to watch me stream some games, yes, I'm playing games online. You know, when I'm doing the wind down, when I'm after a long day of doing whatever I do, it's good to play some video games, I guess. And yeah, I've been having fun playing Fortnite and Marvel's Avengers and some other online games. Yeah, mostly Fortnite. You can find that using the hashtag KeysDanGaming. I'm on Twitch and Facebook Gaming mostly. All right, that's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace.